Hello, friends. Thanks for joining us here on Ray and Betty Talk Sports. Help us get the word out by smashing that subscribe button below, and be sure to be interactive in the comments section. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Yeah, you can find us, Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course, TikTok.
I was on there today.
TikTok?
Yeah, I was checking it out.
How many hours did you waste on TikTok?
Oh, about a tenth of an hour.
Oh, not too bad then.
Yeah, it was a few minutes. A few minutes was enough. We got some NFL playoffs to talk about, even some CFL player signing to talk about, but let's talk about the Winnipeg Jets who are playing tonight. Game's already in action against the St. Louis Blues at home. Any thoughts on those crazy lineup changes?
Yeah, that was something. I don't know what Bonus was doing there. I don't know if it's still intact, those lineup changes, but I mean, Ehlers on the fourth line. That's interesting to me. Carson Kuhlman up on the top line.
Yeah.
Menelainen and Barron with Dubois, and then Wheeler and Perfetti with Lowry.
Yeah, I get it. We're going into an all-star break. You might want to, shake it up, send a message into the locker room. But what I don't understand is you have someone like Lowry and Pionk still in their lines, and they're totally ineffective.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah, and then
I get it, but I don't get it.
They inserted Kyle. I'm going to say this wrong again. Capobianco. You got it. Even though it sounds like Italian and I can't even pronounce it. Back in the lineup tonight for Stanley. So it sounds like Stanley's a healthy scratch and not injured again. Yep. So it's interesting. It's like, why are you going back that way? I don't know if you should have kept Stanley. Why did you bring Stanley in the first place? I know you brought him in for his physicality and his body against that Nashville game, and he got in a fight with in the first 5 minutes of the game. But
yeah,
is that all you brought him in for? To be physical? If that was the case, then wouldn't St. Louis? Those games are usually physical with St. Louis. Wouldn't he have been good to play tonight as well?
Yes, Sandberg and Schmidt was a pretty good line. They're a pretty good third pairing, so hopefully they'll get together sometime soon. Hopefully after the All-Star break. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like seeing Sandberg still in the lineup. If they would have taken him out too, then you start the question. I think Rick Bowness maybe he's grasping a little bit at straws here too, maybe to try and figure out a way to get these guys going, because obviously it's sinking the ship right now. Yeah. It's not totally sunken underwater yet. They got a break coming up, which I think they need to recoup their bodies or whatever, their minds mentally and all that stuff. But doing these lineups tonight, it's like he's grasping at straws.
Yeah, they are struggling. I don't think he's really setting any of these lineups. I think he's well aware that he's going into an 11-day break, and he's sending a bit of a message. I don't think he's really married to any of these lines. Not saying that he's giving up the game to St. Louis, because this is actually it's not a big game, but you're still playing someone in the division. It could mean something. But at the same time, a little bit of a message. So let's continue talking about their struggles. Why have they been struggling? You mentioned that maybe they need a rest, and they do kind of need a rest. They've been playing like almost a game every second day for the past month and a bit. And of course, they've been going through injuries where you have guys like Scheifele, Connor, Dubois, Wheeler, other than when he exploded his thing, really carrying the load for the team. So definitely injuries and the schedule. Any other thoughts on why the Jets are struggling right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's carried over. They're not scoring any goals, right? I mean, they barely scored. They have 5 goals against Ottawa, but they only had a goal against Montreal and Toronto, 4 against Philly, that one game a couple of weeks ago. But this past week, they scored 1 against Nashville, 2 against Buffalo, and those 2 were in the last 5 minutes of the game. And they scored 1. They got shut out by Philly, and now tonight, right now they're scoreless, right? So you're not getting a lot, and that if your top 6 aren't scoring, you're hoping at that point maybe your bottom 6 could chip in some goals. And right now it's dry everywhere.
Absolutely.
Right. They're not getting any score from anywhere. The power play hasn't been clicking at all.
No.
Tonight, 4-minute power play, and they got 1 shot.
Bonus said the playmakers aren't showing up. Aren't showing up.
And they got that bottom 6 that you just it looks good when the team's winning, but when it's not and you need some help from that bottom 6, there's nothing there.
I think they're really missing Appleton and Gagne if you're talking about bottom 6.
Well, Gagne's been in the lineup here and there, and he's hit and miss right now. Like he's got 8 goals, I think, right this year. But he's kind of hasn't gotten anything lately. I mean, you got 3 guys there. Weren't these guys all waiver wire pickups? Stenlin, Kuhlman, and Fjallby, right?
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, so you got 3 guys in your bottom 6 that are all waiver wire picks up. So it feels like a few years ago when Claude Noel was still around and they were just trying to fit guys in here and there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we want to talk about middle 6 or bottom 6. Let's also transition a bit into Winnipeg trade talk possibly coming in. We talked about Bo Horvat, and we'll get into that in a second. But there's also rumors of someone like Nick Ritchie maybe being acquired from the Coyotes. Do you think that would be a good fix for the Jets?
Yeah, I think you got to shore up that top 9 somehow. And maybe you got Lowry and Appleton, and then you can find someone else to fit in there. But I wouldn't mind a guy that could also go into your top 6, right? If someone's struggling, if Perfetti's not having a good game, if Wheeler's struggling, that guys you can move around, then you can trust that they're going to score some goals, right? I mean, Lowry, again, he's scoring some goals this year, but he's not consistent enough. And we'll see how long Appleton takes to get back into game shape as well. But they need that. They need to bring some of these guys, maybe Gustafson coming back in as well, because he's been out for the last few games. They got to shore up this lineup somehow. And that bottom 6 has got to help. And if you can't hit a swing for the fences, obviously Horvat's gone now. But if you can't swing for the fences and get that top 6 guy, then you got to fill that top 9 at least.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think you can definitely get a strong, solid third liner like Nick Ritchie, who hopefully be a game changer, a power forward. I don't know if he's with Lowry or if Lowry gets dropped down. If he does show up, who knows? I still understand why Lowry isn't being dropped into that third line.
Because who you moving up, really? I guess if you got Taves, right? If you end up with Jonathan Taves, maybe then you can bump Lowry down here and there and Taves up to that third line or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just like there's just nothing is working right now, and it's a taxing system. I think this bonus system, and it's new, so the Jets are giving it their all, and they gave it all, and it was working well. Now things are suffering, and you can see even tonight they're gripping those sticks tight. Dubois hit Barron on a 2-on-1 with a great pass, and he fumbled the pass, and ended up not even getting the scoring chance.
Yeah, or one pass too many.
Yeah,
one pass too many, like Morrissey had, and he had a nice lane to shoot, and oops.
Yeah, he had an open net in this game, and I know the puck was kind of bouncing on him, but most of the time you shoot that and you get a chance and it possibly goes in, but he tried to pass it off afterwards, and that didn't work. So they got to make a move. They definitely got to make a move here if they want to have their actual cup aspirations to kind of possibly come true.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but it goes back to even the beginning of the year when the Strome, I don't know if they're brothers, Dylan and Ryan, I can't remember, but they were out there, and guys, like, they could have been signed, and they could have been signed for a cheaper contract, and they would have fit in that top 9 pretty good. And then one of them could have came in handy right now, but they stuck with what they had, and here we are.
Let's talk about what they have with Dubois, who is definitely not staying long term. Are you making a move sooner or later? Sooner probably being by the trade line, later venturing into probably RFA and see what happens there. What are you doing?
I think if they're at a playoff spot or somehow they fall out of a playoff spot in the next month, then I think you look at that move this year, because he's chances are he's not signing long term here at all. It's come back up in the news again, especially when they played Montreal there. I think it was Kyprios or something like that had posted something on Twitter that he's not going to stay in Winnipeg at all. So unless you get an offer right now that'll knock you out of the park, then go for it. But otherwise, I say hang on and see. Chances are he's signing at least another 1-year deal next year, right?
Yeah.
To walk himself into free agency. So wait right now, because the season's going fairly well. They hit a rough spot, but playoffs, that's the ultimate goal.
Bonus said one of his main goals was to keep Dubois on this team. So we'll see what happens. I'll give him that season. He has a reputation, so we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think you're not getting rid of him this year, right? But what are you really going to get for him at the end of the day? I mean, you could possibly get a first rounder if the guy is actually set on, hey, I'm only going to play in Montreal and that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm going into next year. Maybe a team picks him up as a rental, knowing they're only going to have him for a couple months, make a playoff run, and then after that he's signing in Montreal. So you're probably not going to get a lot. Hopefully you can squeeze in at least a first rounder.
Oh, for sure.
For him, right?
First rounder. Yes, you get a first rounder.
But he's going to be a pure rental unless you're trading in Montreal. And why would Montreal trade early for him? They're still in a rebuilding mode.
Yeah, exactly. They won't.
So they could wait. Yeah. So
let's talk about another trade. Bo Horvat traded today to the Islanders. There's some interesting, I guess, reactions on Twitter to this trade. I have no issue with the trade. I don't think anyone actually I think it's a trade that's beneficial for both teams. Kind kind of weirded by New York Islanders. I guess they're trying to make a push and have this guy long term, but we'll see. Vancouver, I think they actually scored very well with 2 young players and a possible first rounder or protected first rounder, top 12 pick. So I like it for Vancouver.
Yeah, Anthony Beauvillier. No, yeah.
Beauvillier.
And Atu Ratti were the 2 players going over, plus a first rounder, which is protected in the top 12 picks. So the Islanders can't get Bedard when Vancouver gets him. Anthony, he had a good start to his career, but he's only hovered around 30 points. Right now he's at about 20. So he's never been over 40 points. So you're not going to get more than that out of him probably over the next little bit. Ratti was a second round pick. So we'll see what he can do once he steps in. And then what they can do with that first rounder. But yeah, I've seen mixed reviews for this trade, whereas people thought both teams didn't get any better really in this move. But yeah, I like Horvat. He's scoring goals. He may not be the analytics darling kind of thing, but he's lighting the lap this year, and if they can get, I'm sure the Islanders are doing this move knowing they're going to sign him. So they're probably going to give him almost close to what he wants, right?
Lou Lamoriello is not a dummy.
No, he's not letting him go. He's not giving up assets and then going to, let him walk in free agency. So
yeah,
I like it. It's a good move. The Islanders are making a push for the playoffs. They needed that guy there. They need somebody there, a star power there after they've been searching for that since almost Tavares left, that top center kind of thing, right? So
yeah, there are a couple games out, but there are a few games in hand.
Yeah.
So they're really tight on that bubble in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think this move should help them.
Beauvillier is nice. I wouldn't mind actually having a player like Beauvillier right now in the Jets' bottom 6. He's a good young. He's been playing like he's young at 25, but he's been in the league like 6-7 years.
Yeah,
so dang, he's like a teenager been playing in the NHL. So that's any which way. Not like the Jets can get him now, but yeah, good trade for both.
Maybe they can still get him.
Yeah, we'll see. I doubt it. Just go get Nick Ritchie and get it done with. Let's hear your comments about trades, possible trades, who you want to see in the Jets roster in the comment section below. NFL Conference Finals. What a weekend. Sorry, brother San Francisco fan. I know it didn't go the way that you wanted. Really rough game. Let's start off with George Kittle. Yeah, you can wear it. You can wear it. No?
No, I'll just hang it over my shoulder for now.
Okay. Well, George Kittle said, how does it feel to lose in an NFC Championship game because I didn't have a quarterback? Pretty shitty, to be honest. Yeah, that's about it. And that pretty much is the whole story.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's I mean, looking at me, I'm just a fan and I look at it going, man, you lost your quarterback, your third string quarterback, the third one of the year, who was playing pretty well. And you lost him basically in the first couple series of the game. And me as a fan, I'm disappointed. These guys, they put their bodies on the line every week. And you fought really hard to get to this place, and to the spot, and you're hoping that, this will take you to the Super Bowl, and then it gets derailed pretty quickly with another quarterback getting hurt. So yeah, it sucks for Kittle. It sucks for Debo. It sucks for that whole team that they didn't get that chance. Even last year going into that NFC Championship game, Garoppolo wasn't 100% either.
No.
So you're like, oh, can we just have it? And they went into this game probably the healthiest they've been over the last few seasons in getting this far in the playoffs, and then it derailed pretty fast. So it sucks.
First drive
to watch that, man.
First drive, yes.
First second.
Drive. Did he hurt his elbow?
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was. Yeah, that's true. And you just gave up a touchdown that probably shouldn't have even counted. Because there was no challenge on the pass to Devonta Smith. There was no expedited review that the NFL is supposed to do. Fox didn't show any good replays. Although Shanahan probably should have called a timeout at least and reviewed it to go with it. But yeah, it's frustrating for the team to go down like that. And, the team altogether, like it was a 7-7 game for the most part, until things derailed close to the end of the first half.
Yep.
And unfortunately, Josh Johnson wasn't ready to come into this game and do anything. So it sucks.
Oh, he got concussed.
He did. But even before that, he fumbled the snap. And he could easily recovered it, but he, fumbled that on the ground, and he just didn't look steady.
I think if you had him long term, let him just settle into the game. It's a big game. It's in Philadelphia. You'd have obviously had a way better chance of competing. And
for sure.
The offense would have at least been on the field a little longer. The time of possession would have been so skewed. So, it just sucked to have him losing him to concussion, and he had no one to throw the ball.
Yeah, I mean, Purdy, he tore the UCL in his
that's a big
elbow.
one.
So he's at least 6 months. It all depends if he needs Tommy John surgery because it'll be even longer. So Josh Johnson would have definitely helped more than having a guy that couldn't throw the ball in the second half. But unfortunately, his fumble turned that game from 14-7 to 21-7. The penalties were crazy. The Niners just were off. They were off their game, and they're throwing off their game and just taking some bad penalties and some questionable calls. Even that roughing the passer or roughing the kicker penalty was the guy got tossed into him, and it's just like, come on, man. That ended up leading to another drive where the Eagles ended up punching it in and basically ended the game there. So.
A little bit of props to the Eagles. The O-line, they really shut down Joey Bosa. 0 sacks, 0 hits on the QB. We were talking last week.
Nick Bosa.
Yeah, we'll talk about
he did get
Bosa
a sack.
later.
He did get a sack.
I don't think
he almost got a safety. Yeah.
I don't think he got a sack.
Yeah, he got him. He got.
I want to check that stat line. I could be wrong. I have him at 0 sacks, 0 QB hits.
I'll have to check because he did have Hurts at the goal line, was close to a safety. So.
Stat correction. Check the stat genie. So while you check the stats, the 49ers going into the offseason, we'll save Super Bowl talk with the Eagles and whatnot later on for next week. What are they looking to fix, possibly solidify, clarifying going into the offseason?
You know what? The funny thing is, you would ask me 2 days ago, I would have said, you know what? I wouldn't have included quarterback, but here we are again. We're back at the quarterback position. And I think that is going to be their biggest spot of need. Actually, he didn't get a sack on that play. That's weird.
Yeah, well, if they can figure out with Purdy, because he has to be the guy going in, obviously the favorite, if he's healthy.
Yeah.
That's a rookie contract that you have, and a guy who won 5 games in a row, 11 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. I think you'd have to go with him, and you don't have to get rid of Trey Lance. Obviously, you want to keep it at least till training camp. Maybe if he's healthier, show him on video, and maybe he might be some draft piece to look after. But yeah, QB is kind of up in the air, but I definitely don't think they should go for anyone like Tom Brady. Never mind that garbage.
It depends what the news comes back on Purdy for sure. Is he going to need that surgery? And if he's going to be out longer than 6 months, then you know what? Go get Brady. I'm all for it. But if Purdy's fine, like he'll be okay by training camp, because it's not like he can't throw until training camp.
Yeah,
he can start throwing before that, so he's ready for training camp. He'll just miss a lot of the offseason stuff, which sucks because that'd be big for his growth, right?
Yeah.
But I think if he's hurt and he's going to be out longer, you only have Trey Lance. So it's either you're looking now at bringing back Jimmy G somehow, or going for a Tom Brady and letting Lance and Purdy both sit behind them. I don't think Rodgers, but because I don't think Green Bay is trading Rodgers into the NFC.
No. So if Brady goes, let's say, to his hometown team, how much of a discount is he willing to give up? Because San Francisco still has some players to sign. Like, as a Steeler fan, I would love to see Azeez Al-Shaair as a linebacker on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a young kid who's up and coming, who's about to get paid. And of course, you're losing D'Amico Ryans probably to the Texans.
Yeah, D'Amico's gone, so that's another thing they have to fill in. And if they can get Vic Fangio, apparently is still out there. He didn't end up signing with the Dolphins, so if you can get him, that's a big move. But yeah, you're gonna have to fill that spot.
Yeah.
But for the most part, their defense, if they can find another guy on that D line on the other side of Bosa that can start causing havoc that way too, then you have those two guys. That'd be a big move. The linebackers core is set. Dre Greenlaw did not have the best of games yesterday at all. A lot of mistakes, a lot of penalties for that guy. So, but Al-Shaair, man, he has stepped up. So even if you lose Greenlaw, at least he can step into Greenlaw's place.
If they sign him, they got to sign him.
So I think Greenlaw is up 2 this year. So we'll see what
Pittsburgh
they end up doing. No, leave him alone.
Just a little bit of an asterisk action here. Ron Carthon, who used to be a director of player personnel in San Fran, who is now the Titans GM. Do you think he'll make a move for Trey Lance?
It's a possibility, but again, now it's all up in the air for the Niners, though, right? Yeah. I would rather them keep Lance and Purdy if that works out. Like if Purdy's good, keep the two of them together. Let them compete if you have to, but go in with Purdy being the top guy. And who knows? Maybe this magic of Purdy wears off next year, right? And now you've given up Lance to the Titans, or possibly, and it's like, well, now what do you do? We're back at square one with this quarterback position that's been a mess for years. Right?
What if the Titans sent your boy Ryan Tannehill?
Oh, no. I'd rather keep Trey Lance.
With that offense, hey?
No. I have a feeling Shanahan's going to try and get Kirk Cousins if Purdy's out.
Oh gosh, he's great in clutch, isn't he? Another fun fact: Eagles cruising to a combined score of 69-14 versus the Giants and the 49ers. Lucky for the Chiefs that Mahomes has an extra week to heal that ankle because the Eagles' defense is feeling it, despite the fact that Shoutouts and Fran lost all their quarterbacks.
Yeah, that you know what. It sucks losing Purdy, but that D line and especially Hassan Reddick for the Eagles was killer, man. And they were just all over them. That O line is going to be another thing the Niners have to look at because their guards had a rough game. Yeah. So yeah, props to that D line. And if they were getting Mahomes on this bum ankle, yeah, they probably got a pretty good chance. But Mahomes has got that escapability.
So let's go to the AFC and look at the Bengals and the Chiefs. Officiating an issue, down redos an issue, late roughing the passer call an issue for the Bengals. Horrible. Thoughts on that game? Officiating? Any issue with the officiating in that game?
Yeah, tons of it. I mean, even on that play, the redo play, the ref before it, they respotted the ball, and then he states, set this to 10 seconds, and on my command, start the play clock and the game clock. Well, the game clock shouldn't have started because the pass before that was incomplete. So right there, it's the ref saying it. So the ref made a mistake there.
Yeah,
you know, and then you got this thing going. Well, the other ref was trying to blow the play down. And there was a lot of things. Well, it was noisy, whatever. It's in Kansas City. The crowd was quiet enough that you should be able to hear a whistle. You do see a video of the guy running into the field, but it's like he gets to a certain spot and he kind of just stops.
Yeah,
and most of the time they're running straight to that line of scrimmage to stop the play, blowing their whistles like they're going crazy. So this was a whole weird one altogether. and you let the play go, and, bump off the 10 seconds that you were supposed to, or add the 10 seconds or whatever that you let, run off or whatever like that. That play should not, to me, been replayed at all. You helped them out, and then you kind of killed. Yeah, they didn't get anything out of it, but you kill more time off that clock when there was only just over 10 minutes left in the game.
Yeah.
So
I think if they would have scored on that drive, then we'd have an issue. I think it's being made a little too big of an issue. Yeah, we can talk about momentum, and possible plays in the future, but there was no capitalization on what happened. They ended up stopping them. They can get it done. The Bengals didn't start off strong. That is the issue, not the officiating, I don't think. And they're complaining about a pass interference by Mike Kilton that should have been called. That was clearly a pass interference. You can't have your arm around a guy's hip. It's 2023. That's interference all day long. So, yeah, it does suck, the replay and the redo. It's sketchy, but it happened, and I'm not going to blame the officiating on this game.
It's just you can almost combine the two games together, and like the reffing yesterday, what to me was not good at all either. Like you had the Devontae Smith catch that we talked about, but you also had the punt that possibly hit the wire that no one could tell hit a wire by the Eagles. There was no good review of it, that roughing the kicker call, and then a bunch of them in the Kansas City game too. It has to be consistent, and you got your best or second and third best crews here, right? The best ones going to the Super Bowl, and they're still making tons of mistakes. I don't know if you need this sky judge or whatever, but it would help them out. But yeah, I don't think the reffing was enough to derail the game for the Bengals. Too many mistakes. They had opportunities. They couldn't keep Burrow upright. How many sacks did he get? 5?
Yeah, that O-line that stood up the week before absolutely folded this week.
Yeah, and then Chris Jones had a monster game, and and he ended it with the one big sack there at the end. So
weren't people calling him out like last week?
Chris Jones?
Invisible? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here he is.
But even the last drive that the Bengals really had, they're driving it, they're moving it. Then they decided to chuck it downfield into double coverage. Ends up being a pick. Is that on Burrow? Is that on the play calling? It just, there wasn't good choices yesterday for Canada, for Cincinnati, and that game was there for the taking. Especially with a hobbled Mahomes. He did not have a great game. I know he put up a lot of yards, but he was so inconsistent.
Yeah. Like the 2 interceptions that Burrows threw, they didn't end up as Chiefs points, but they stopped the Bengals from scoring in a game where they lost by 3 points at the end of the game.
Yeah.
They should have had that game. Yeah, it was.
And speaking of boneheaded plays, the second last play of the game. It's like, and then sometimes those plays like that make me go at the NFL and go, is this fixed? Like the guy should know that he should not be hitting him that late out of bounds, right?
Absolutely.
As soon as those quarterbacks touch that white line, man, back away.
Yeah.
So you give him an extra 15 yards and they hit the field goal afterwards. I don't get it. Like, to me, and I've never been in that position, but to me, I'm thinking, okay, I'm there. Like, I can think well enough to go, hey, don't hit this guy. Yeah. And these guys are professionals and they're still making those boneheaded plays.
Like, we don't have a brickhead this week, but this might be a bonehead. And the guy's young. He's a 21-year-old. And it was great to see, we saw the clip of his teammate giving it to him going into the locker room, but it was also good to see him in his press conference where he had a veteran supporting him, making sure, he wasn't being bombarded with questions about it, making him feel bad. And, he felt that his teammates were behind him. So it's also good to see that side of football, that, he wasn't deserted and left to answer the media and feel bad about it, because he was crying on the sideline.
Oh, yeah, he was crying before he and the guy who was giving him crap as they were walking into the locker room actually apologized today too. Yep. Said he shouldn't have done that. I get it. Your emotions are running high. You're pissed at the guy who did it. And as fans, they were probably pissed at the guy too right away. And it just like takes a second to just go, man, they're still human at the end of the day, right? The guy made a mistake. He knew it. He feels it. He's going to feel it all friggin' off season, man.
Yeah, poor kid.
Yeah.
Well, poor young man. He's not a kid anymore. Friends, don't forget to put your don't forget, like we already did, put your early Super Bowl predictions down there. Let's see how they come up during the week, and we'll share ours next week in our Super Bowl preview.
A lot of storylines for this Super Bowl that we'll talk about next week.
Can't wait. Let's finish off with some quick shots. Let's go with some CFL signings to start off. Bo Levi signing with Hammy. No kidding. There's kind of no surprise there. Thoughts? What does that do with the QB market in the CFL? Good signing, bad signing?
Yeah, I like it. Why not? Hamilton's got a veteran team. They got some good receivers. Again, the Grey Cup's back in Hamilton again, so they definitely want to be in there or win it this time, right? So it's a good move for them. I think. What was it? Was it a 3-year deal? Can't remember now.
I think so.
About $500,000, I think, a year or something like that. So
yeah,
not a bad deal. Still leaves them some open salary to sign other guys. It is more than what Kolaros is making, though, I'm pretty sure. So I don't understand that part.
Yeah.
Like you would think you would get him for less, but I guess the guy could have hit free agency in Saskatchewan, probably would have paid him a stupid amount to try and get him to go over there. But
can they just sign Fajardo already? Can you just sign Fajardo and stop the nonsense?
Are they trading for Dane Evans at this point?
Why? Isn't Dane Evans a free agent?
No, I think he's still got a year at least in Hamilton. So they either got to trade for him or hope Hamilton releases him. I mean, that's the thing. Hamilton's going to be paying, like they were paying him at least over a couple hundred, right? For Dane Evans to be a starter, maybe more. So you're not going to be paying close to $1 million for 2 quarterbacks. So they're going to have to make a move at some point with Evans. And where's the opening? Saskatchewan's really the only opening, right? Montreal, maybe?
They haven't signed Trevor Harris, but they're going to sign Trevor Harris. Trevor Harris.
It sounds like he's going to be testing out free agency as well, actually, because he's probably asking for some coin and they're not ready to pay him that.
Oh, and maybe also because he's sick of the management situation in Montreal as well, because what's his name is leaving, apparently. The receiver, Lewis.
Yes.
He's not having any part of it. He wants out.
So there you go. So why would Harris, who you're losing your best wide receiver, why would you want to stick around there? Maybe he ends up in Saskatchewan.
Maybe. Ooh, it'll be a QB carousel big time.
You better fix that whole line in Saskatchewan, though, if you're bringing in Trevor Harris, because he's not getting away.
No, he's on his final legs, but I don't know. His boy is the coach there now. What's that QB from Edmonton? Jason Moss.
Yeah.
They were boys before, so who knows? I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It's just like you say, it's a mess. Though you're losing your top wide receiver. The ownership thing's a mess. Gary Stern, I don't know what's happening with that guy. So, and you still got to deal with Danny Machocha.
Oh, give me a break. Don't get me started with Danny Machocha. It's too early in the year to talk about that guy. Former Bomber favorite, still a Bomber favorite. He was a great guy. Went to the NFL with the Patriots and the Saints, and I'm not sure who else. Drew Desjardins signing with the Ottawa Redblacks. Almost said Roughriders. Good move.
When you said it, Renegades was going through my head too. I don't know why.
Oh, yeah. Next, we'll say Glebermans. Thoughts on that move? I think it's great, obviously.
Good move for Ottawa. Obviously, a hefty contract that he got there, $250,000 1 year and then $260,000 the next. So, and then incentives and that. So it's a big contract. It's the top O-line contract in the league, especially for a guard. So it's not that the Bombers weren't going to be able to pay that at all.
No.
If he can come back and play into form, it's a good move for Ottawa. Will it cost them too much? Maybe, but I like the move because the thing was with Ottawa is they made a lot of moves on their O-line last year, did they not?
Yes.
And they brought in a lot of guys. So
they brought that Edmonton tackle, didn't they?
Yeah. Are some of those guys gone?
No.
Like, are you clearing out any salary there? Or you just, I guess they could probably release these guys. Nothing.
Well, the thing with the CFL, there's so many 1-year contracts as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm wondering if they'll go for Couture. Really solidify the middle of that lineup.
Yeah. I mean, then the thing with CFL is none of the contracts are guaranteed anyway. So you could easily get rid of a guy and not have to pay him anyways and bring in new guys. So, but yeah, I could see Couture too. Why not?
We know Derek Dennis isn't going anywhere with Calgary. He got signed there. He's got Jake Myers back. Solid move. They had to make that move.
Yeah, you need that O-line and Derek Dennis. It sounded like, from what his tweet said, it almost sounded like this was his last year kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So he wasn't going to go somewhere new and do something different. With the Stampeders, you're still on a good team, so you got a chance. So good signing for Calgary.
Is this Stanley Bryant's last year?
Yeah, probably.
All right.
I can see it.
Well, more CFL talk to come with free agency.
What's going on with Nick Dempsey?
Well, they got to sign him.
Is he going to be testing free agency? I'm scared.
No, they got to wrap that up.
That's coming out 2 weeks, man.
I'm getting worried. How many more major contracts are out there for the Bombers?
Probably him, right?
And you can't replace the Canadian Swiss Army knife.
No, yeah, you need him. But is he asking for too much? Is it an Andrew Harris situation where you're trying to weigh those cons? Is he going to be able to stay healthy? But I don't know, man. I think they got to sign him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they will. I think it's going to get done. You got a shout out?
Yes. I'm going to give a shout out.
I said it so slow, but go ahead.
I'm going to give a shout out to Jennifer Jones and her team of Carly Burgess and sisters Mackenzie and Emily Zacharias and Lauren Lenentine. Hopefully I said that right.
Word.
For winning the Manitoba Scotties. So shout out to them.
There's a controversy going on with her not living in Manitoba anymore.
Bob Irving.
I'm not a curling specialist. I don't know anything about curling, the rules, what's good for the game. All I know is I think it's kind of weird that someone who lives in Ontario can still win the provincials in Manitoba. I don't know.
Well, there was Bob Irving tweeted it out, and he got a lot of heck on it on Twitter because of all the people like, what does it matter anymore? Because he called himself a curling purist, and then the guy's like, well, I like curling, and I don't mind this. I'm not a purist, kind of thing. But McEwen, who lives in Winnipeg, won for Ontario or something like that, or the opposite way around. So I don't know. I don't know enough rules about curling, but I don't have an issue with it, but.
People on Twitter got to chill when they're dealing with Bob Irving. Like, that guy's a Winnipeg sports legend. He has an opinion on Twitter. If you don't agree, then say you don't agree. But don't start calling names and be personal and start acting like some stupid ass mouth breather. Just relax. Relax. It's Twitter. If you don't agree, don't agree. Have a conversation with Bob Irving, a Winnipeg legend. There's my boneheads. There's my boneheads. The idiots on Twitter who want to smash Bob Irving just for having opinion. Don't be mouth breathers. Shut up. There you go.
The guy's been around for a long time. He's seen a lot of sports. He covered curling in the past. So he knows. And he's just saying, I liked it better this way.
Yeah. And these Twitter fools who have covered sports for nothing are all about ad hominem attacks and shut up. Don't be stupid.
Oh, yeah. The way to go. That's the way to go in this day and age. Just attack.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what Twitter's for, basically.
Oh, we got our brickhead in there real good. Benny, you got anything to say to our friends?
You know what? Just thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget, subscribe, follow, leave us a comment. Tell us what you like. Maybe tell us what you don't like.
Yeah.
Let us know. Have a good week.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, like Benny said, and we'll see you next week. There's the cut. Man, you see this guy, Bosa's brother there outside with his jacket? Would you yeah, that's right. Would you have said anything if you're in that guy's position? Would you confront the fan?
You know what? I get it. Because when you're listening to that fan, he was kind of annoying. Like he was just pure annoyance. Like you listen to it going, Joey Bosa's there to support his brother. And I'm surprised he was actually wearing Niner gear because I'm surprised Charger fans aren't losing their mind.
Wear the jersey. Wear the jersey. That's all. Yeah. Don't wear the leather jacket.
No, he had the jacket and everything.
See his woman with a big flag she's wearing?
Yeah. They were all decked out. It's like, but yeah. I don't blame him for jawing back at the fan because it was annoying. I don't like his comment where he said, what are you Snapchatting your little butt buddies? Like,
yeah,
like Joey, you got to use your brain every once in a while, man. Like your temper just gets the best of you. You could have jawed back and forth with this guy, but left that kind of crap out of there. That's not needed.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.